Hello and welcome to another video. Today's a triple whammy about potatoes, blight and tomatoes. The tomatoes will come roughly at this time here, but for now I'm just going to plant up some potatoes. These are intended to be for not for Christmas. They'll be for eating whenever I can in November and December, and it's all about having new potatoes. I've saved back seed potatoes from the spring. They're in a ropey old state now, desperate to be put out, and now's the time to actually put them out. It's as simple as putting them in the compost at different levels, 3 per pot. Fresh compost, and there it is. Job's done. Nothing more clever than that. It's a way of trying to avoid tomato and potato blight, because it's been rife this year for us. Very late, we enabled to get a good crop, but even so, now it's with us. It won't let go. By planting late, all the potatoes are dead in the ground. This last one here will get 4 potatoes. By doing that, you should avoid the worst of the blight. That's the theory. All certified seed. As easy as that. Right then, we're up at the allotment in the polytunnel now, and we're looking at the blighted tomatoes, and I'm going to try and slow down the spread of the disease if I can. It is through to the stems, so there is no saving these tomatoes, but slowing the disease down is what I'm trying to do, to try and get these tomatoes ripe. As soon as they show colour, they will have gained their taste, so you can remove them then, as Diggie will shown us and told us about. So I'm looking out to harvest them as soon as they start showing colour. I'll link the video from Diggie in the notes below. On this side of the polytunnel, the tomatoes are planted directly in the soil, and there's much less stress on the plants, so there's much more there's less affected foliage. I'm still going to remove quite a lot of the foliage, but and here they are, naked, virtually naked. I've stripped off any new growth, all the old stems, leaving behind as little of the blight as possible. But as I said, they're doomed, but let's try and slow it down. Normally I'd get away with this later than this, but our next door neighbour had blight on the potatoes directly outside the door. It was inevitable. I've left some of the foliage on there. I might well live to regret that. We'll see. But I've taken off a lot of foliage. I don't remove foliage normally. But oh well, needs must, I guess. You can see a lot of the irrigation tubing that I've used on the floor now, because I've removed it from the other side over to this side, because the other side is virtually too damp anyway. I've left a review of this irrigation unit until now because I wanted to see how it worked in the summer. It's a unit from Irrigation. It's reasonably expensive, but not too expensive. if I can use it over multiple seasons. All it works is the filter drops down to the bottom of a large water source with a sensor attached to it, and I've put 2 blue barrels in sequence so that there's a large volume of water to actually draw from, and it's worked very well. I'm quite pleased with this unit. I've found that I can go much longer between waterings with this unit supplying good old solar powered water, and it applies it when I most need it, when it's sunny. This bed shows how well the irrigation has actually worked, because the moisture you see is just applied by the unit, and the weeds are loving it as well. That's a marigold there, so that's not a weed. The soil itself is nice and damp under the units, and even to the side there's still retained quite a lot of the moisture under the dry soil, so there's less humidity in the unit, because the water's where you want it, not necessarily everywhere. So that's really good. Something I didn't mention on the potatoes was that at home here, where I'm now, rather than the allotment polytunnel, there's no real blight pressure. These are far better off. I don't usually get a problem with blight whatsoever in this particular area, so I'll keep my cherry tomatoes going. Whereas up the allotment, it's all about tomatoes basically for sauces. This is the way I keep my tomatoes normally, totally in leaf. Don't see a problem with it, don't have any problems. Up the allotment, it is slightly different because you have got that blight pressure. This is a little bit wild. This does need a little bit more control, really. I would not advocate this much foliage. But down in deepest Devon, that, like we are, there's a bee. Go on, just get the bee out in a minute. Come on out, go. You don't even in here. It's very mild climate. I'll be picking these until late autumn, depend on that last frost. I won't be heating the greenhouse at that particular point. Loads of foliage, no blight, and I'm hoping that on the potatoes there they'll have the same lack of problems with blight, and I'll keep them at home here, and hopefully I'll get a harvest late on, blight-free potatoes to be boiled and used as a different texture compared with the old varieties that we keep over Christmas and winter. There's nothing that beats Christmas roast potatoes that you've kept yourself. Absolutely delightful. Thanks a lot for joining me again, guys, and I'll see you on the next one.